I'm just a poor boy, my stories seldom told. I've squandered my riches for a pocket for a number of true promises. All lies and jest, still romance is what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. When I left my home and my family, I was no more than a boy in the common street, in the quiet death railway station, running the sea. Playing low, seeking out poor reporters where the right people go, looking for the places only they would know. La la la, la 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 la.
Hello viewers, it's James Kalm, your half-assed reporter, the menace, the guy on the bike, and we are back in Chelsea, the last Friday of summer 2025. We're gonna run into Miles McEnery Gallery and I'm gonna take a look at an exhibition by Lisa Corinne Davis. Does the show have a title? So Lisa has titled the show Syllogisms. And, well, that's tricky. I've actually been following her work for, gosh, at least 10 years, maybe more. I haven't had a chance to get in and do an in-depth review of her shows until now. But I think I remember doing one of my Bushwick Open Studio shows, reviews, and she had a studio out in Bushwick at 1717 Troutman Street, a huge studio building, and I kind of stumbled in there, and she was working in her studio, and I think she even had a couple of, maybe some of her assistants that were visiting for the open studio weekend. Okay, this is titled Categorical Contrivances. She's getting very, very linguistic and philosophical. I think one of the things that I've always enjoyed, and I think John Yao addresses in his gushing review of her work, is that Lisa is dealing a lot with map mapping, diagrams, things like that, and well, I'm a big fan of maps and diagrams myself, but I would have to say that Lisa is going in a little different direction, in that I think she takes all those ideas and kind of abstracts them, and rather than, say, maybe mapping a city or a town, she's kind of mapping the surface of the painting, maybe even mapping the surface of an idea. So I kind of like this squiggly, organic central form here. And then there's almost like a little shadow form behind it, but I like the way that that's almost cut like a strange little puzzle piece. Okay, this is volatile precept, oil on canvas, 75 by 55 inches. Well, as I said, I've been watching her work for a while, and she's been getting better and better. And as I was saying, she's got a wonderful approach to the graphic compositions. And I was looking at this, and also just from the abstract and the painterly and coloristic aspects of this work. It makes me think of someone that's been a female artist that has been recently rediscovered, Lynn Drexler, who is doing a lot of great work from maybe the early 50s until, gosh, I think she didn't pass away until sometime about 8 or 10 years ago. Okay, this is titled Dogmatic Deceit. Also, I know that Lisa is a well-loved educator, a teacher, and gosh, I've come through Chelsea at night on Thursdays when they've got all the openings here, and she was basically like the Pied Piper of a bunch of young art students. She had an entourage of about 7 or 8 people that were with her. Also, I like the way that she varies these areas. Some areas are kind of all done in an analogous color, so you've got the yellows and greens, and then she's got these nice bumped up kind of lines. I think she's using some masking tape. It's titled Temporal Terrain, 2025. This is oil on canvas, 80 by 60. I'm going to read a little bit from John Yao's review in Hyperallergic. What was apparent in the early work, and is far more convincing and exciting now, is that Davis has stretched the possibilities of geometric abstraction into a territory defined by digital systems, algorithms, flowcharts, and diagrams. A visual realm that alludes to the measurement and the prediction of our behavior. She's achieved this by developing a vocabulary made up of distinct abstract languages, each one composed of similar colors and based on repeating units, which include open, unstable grids, various geometric shapes, lines and bands, and puzzle-like shapes. Working almost exclusively in oil on canvas, Davis layers one open system over another, making sure no one dominates as they disrupt and infiltrate each other. The figure-ground relationship is nuanced and contentious as multiple systems vie for our attention. Okay, pretty nice, thank you, John. I like the little lines, it's almost like a grid. And again, we've got our little juicy stripes of the multicolor things. Well, this must have been one of the paintings that John was talking about, going into more of the diagrammatic rather than the mapping. This is titled Elusive Location, which could be a reference to a map. So this is oil on canvas 80 by 60. So that's 6.5 by 5 feet. And as I was saying, you've got the kind of the analogous central form. And you've got a couple of these off-kilter squares with the multiple colors, and then you've got like these little routes, these little lines. Go around and crisscross the composition. I was also going to say that I've known Lisa for a while, and I visited a couple of other shows at other galleries, but I think that Miles McEnery is a very good fit for her. This is titled Fleeting Form. So there's a real crispness to the way that she uses the paint, and I think she might even, okay, what does it say? This is acrylic and oil on canvas. Okay, so maybe she's using some fluorescent acrylic. And so this is one of the paintings that's got a lot of white in there. And again, okay, so I think these compositional devices say things like that happening on the edge relates to diagramming and mapping. It kind of gets you away from the whole New York school of abstract expressionism where you pour out your guts and your emotion on the canvas. This is a little more cerebral. I guess I should also make a little statement now that I wanted to dedicate this episode to the memory of Agnes Gund. One of the reasons that I got into the gallery late was that I received notice of her passing, and I had to send some little emails to friends that I know that were close friends with her. Send my condolences. This is titled Transient Reticulation. Oh, this is one of the few pieces where she's getting a little chunkier. I like that. I was also thinking that you could probably just arbitrarily take out a 24 by 24 inch square, stretch it up, and you'd have a perfect little painting right there. Everything is kind of overall, but all beautifully designed. Let's go look at some of the works on paper now. Transient position. It's acrylic paint, ink, and marker on paper. I'm gonna say these little pieces are also very satisfying. Oh, I like this. Manipulative mode. It's acrylic paint and marker on paper, 18 by 14 and a quarter. Okay, so there are these little things like the wedge of white there in the corner on the edge, and the way that's repeated kind of makes you have a sense that the picture plane extends out over the edge on part of this and then is constrained within the edge of the paper on the other part. Okay, and we're gonna wrap up looking at this piece. Elusive evidence. It's 18 by 14 and a quarter. So I've got a little network of black lines behind there. And then that's kind of overlaid with a much thicker network of indigo lines. This has been James Kalm reporting on Lisa Corinne Davis, Syllogisms, here at Miles McEnery Gallery You can like this, share, link it up to all your social media sites. You can talk about it. You can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, reviews, suggestions, and you can subscribe. And we don't ask you to leave money at Patreon. We don't ask for donations. If you want to give them, that's fine. The only thing that we ask is that you say, "Thank you, Kate." Well, thank you, Kazoo. That was good.